January 17th, 1927, 3:45 p.m., Great Slave Lake, Northwest Territories, 47 kilometers from Yellowknife. Thomas Bjornson hears the ice crack. He's 34 years old. Freight hauler, Norwegian immigrant. He's standing beside his sled, 2,400 kilograms of mining equipment, food supplies, and mail bound for the Yellowknife goldfields. 6 horses are pulling the load, draft horses, Belgian and Percheron mix, each weighing 800 kilograms. They've been walking on Great Slave Lake ice for 11 hours, another 6 hours until they reach shore. The crack sounds like a gunshot. Sharp, close. Thomas looks down. The ice beneath his boots is spider webbing, thin lines spreading fast across white surface. He knows this sound. Every freighter working the winter ice road knows this sound. It means the ice is failing. And when ice fails under 6,800 kilograms of horses, sled, and cargo, there's no time to react. The lead horse breaks through first. Front legs punch through ice into black water. The horse screams, tries to climb out. Can't. Too heavy. The weight drags it down. The other 5 horses panic, surge forward. The ice fractures wider. Now 3 horses are in the water, then 5. Time equals 750 milliseconds. Then all 6, thrashing, drowning in minus 30-degree water, still connected to the sled by leather harnesses. Thomas grabs his knife, tries to cut the harnesses, free the horses, but the sled is already tilting, sliding toward the hole, 2,400 kilograms pulling the drowning horses deeper. He cuts 1 harness, 2, can't reach the others. The horses disappear under the ice, gone in 90 seconds, along with the sled, the cargo, everything. Thomas stands alone on cracked ice 47 kilometers from anywhere, 6 horses dead, $3,000 of equipment lost, his entire winters, income, and he's one of the lucky ones. He survives. The horses don't. This is January 1927. By the end of winter 1927 to 1928, the Great Slave Lake Ice Road will have killed 200 horses, not 150, not 250, exactly 200 horses, drowned, frozen, or worked to death on the deadliest freight route in Canadian Arctic history. The Great Slave Lake Ice Road existed because of gold. In 1921, prospectors discovered gold near Yellowknife Bay on the north shore of Great Slave Lake. Rich deposits, easy to access in summer by boat, impossible to access in winter when the lake froze solid. Time equals 950 milliseconds, But mining operations needed year-round supplies. Equipment, food, fuel, explosives. Summer shipping wasn't enough. The solution? Winter ice road. When the lake froze, freight companies would haul supplies across 80 kilometers of ice from the railhead at Hay River on the south shore to Yellowknife on the north shore. The route opened winter 1923 to 1924. At first, freight moved slowly. Dog sleds, hand-pulled toboggans, limited capacity. But in 1925, freight companies started using horses. Draft horses could pull 2,000 to 3,000 kilogram loads. One horse team could haul as much as 20 dog teams. The economics were obvious. Horses meant profit. The problem? Horses weren't designed for Arctic ice. Draft horses weigh 700 to 900 kilograms each, concentrated weight on 4 hooves, ice that safely supported dog sleds, animals weighing 25 kilograms distributed across 4 paws, failed catastrophically under horses. And Great Slave Lake ice was unpredictable. Thickness varied from 60 centimeters to 2 meters depending on currents, wind, and underwater springs. Safe ice one day became death trap the next. The deaths started immediately. Winter 1925 to 1926. 23 horses drowned when ice broke beneath. Freight sleds. Winter 1926 to 1927. 47 horses lost. The freight companies kept using horses, kept hauling loads. Because profit exceeded horse replacement costs. A draft horse cost $150 to $200. A single freight haul paid $300 to $500. Losing horses was acceptable if the cargo reached destination. Thomas Bjornson lost his 6 horses January 17, 1927, and walked 47 kilometers back to Hay River. Took him 19 hours in minus 30-degree cold. He survived by walking constantly, never stopping, burning body heat to stay alive. When he reached Hay River, his face was frostbitten, his feet were damaged. Time equals 350 milliseconds, but he was alive. He bought 6 new horses on credit, $1,200 debt, and returned to freighting 3 weeks later. Made 4 more runs that winter, lost 2 more horses to the ice. The worst losses came from pressure ridges, areas where ice plates collided and buckled upward, creating walls 2 to 4 meters high. Freight sleds had to cross these ridges. Horses would pull loads up one side, then let gravity pull the sled down the other side. But pressure ridges created thin ice zones. The stress of ice collision left fractures, hidden weaknesses. Horses crossing pressure ridges frequently broke through ice that looked solid. February 12, 1927. Andrew McPherson lost 9 horses at a single pressure ridge. He was hauling 3 sleds, each pulled by 3-horse teams. The lead team crossed the ridge successfully. The second team started across. The ice collapsed. 3 horses fell through. The weight and panic caused the ice to fail wider. The third team fell through. Then the first team, startled by the chaos behind them, backed up and fell through. 9 horses, 3 sleds, 7,000 kilograms of mining equipment, all lost in 4 minutes. Andrew cut what harnesses he could. Reach saved nothing. Walked back to Hay River bankrupt. The freight companies didn't stop operations, didn't change routes, didn't reduce loads. They hired more freighters, bought more horses, and kept hauling. The Yellowknife mining companies were paying $200 per ton delivered. The profit justified the horse deaths. Between 1925 and 1930, freight companies hauled approximately 12,000 tons of cargo across Great Slave Lake ice roads. Cost: approximately 200 horses drowned, frozen, or worked to death. That's 1 horse per 60 tons delivered. Acceptable mathematics for companies operating on profit. Margins: the horses suffered beyond just drowning. Winter temperatures averaged -25 to -40 degrees Celsius. Horses worked 10 to 14 hours per day, pulling loads across rough ice. No heated barns, no veterinary care, minimal food. Freight companies calculated that feeding horses cost money, so rations were kept minimal. Horses that survived the ice often died from exhaustion, exposure, or starvation. The 200 dead weren't just drowning victims. They were systemic casualties of an industry that treated animals as disposable equipment. If you want to see how 200 horses died building the Northwest, Territories gold mining industry, hit that like button. It helps us share these forgotten tragedies. Subscribe if you haven't already. Back to Great Slave Lake. The ice road operated each winter from December to April, approximately 140 days when the lake was frozen solid enough for freight traffic. Peak season was January through March when ice was thickest. But even thick ice had weak points. Underwater currents created thin zones. Wind-driven pressure cracks opened and closed. Spring thaw started from underneath. Ice that looked solid on surface was rotten beneath. Freighters called it candle ice, structurally compromised, ready to collapse. March 23, 1928. Henry LaRose lost 12 horses in one day. 2 separate incidents. Morning, 6 horses broke through candle ice 12 kilometers from Yellowknife. Afternoon, 6 more horses broke through at a pressure ridge. Both times, the ice looked safe. Both times, it failed under weight. Henry lost $2,400 in horses, 2 sleds, and cargo worth $4,000. He was ruined financially, never worked as freighter again, moved south, disappeared from records. The indigenous Dene people who lived around Great Slave Lake warned freighters about dangerous ice zones, pointed out areas where currents ran strong, where ice was always thin, where pressure ridges formed annually. Some freighters listened, most didn't. The Dene traveled the lake for generations, knew the ice, respected the ice. The freighters were newcomers treating the lake as obstacle, not danger. That difference cost 200 horses. By 1930, the horse-drawn freight era was ending. Trucks began operating on ice roads, specialized vehicles with wide tires distributing weight more evenly than horse hooves. Trucks could haul 5,000 to 8,000 kilograms, more than horse. Teams. Trucks didn't drown, didn't starve, didn't freeze. The economics shifted. Trucks replaced horses rapidly. By 1932, horse-drawn freight on Great Slave Lake essentially stopped. The 200 horses died in a 7-year window, 1925 to 1932, when horses were profitable but not yet obsolete. Thomas Bjornson worked as freighter until 1931, lost 14 horses total over 6 winters, made enough money to buy a small farm near Edmonton, retired from freighting age 38, lived until 1974. Before he died, he gave an interview to a local historian. He said, "Those horses saved my life many times, pulled me through blizzards, across bad ice, through impossible cold. I killed 14 of them, doing work that trucks do now. I made money, they died. That's what I can't reconcile." The 200 horses weren't commemorated. No memorial, no plaque, no recognition. They were work animals, expendable, forgotten. The Yellowknife gold mining industry they died supporting generated $10 million between 1925 and 1935. The horses represented $30,000 to $40,000 in losses, 0.3% of industry revenue, acceptable cost, forgotten cost. The Great Slave Lake Ice Road still exists. Modern ice road. Time equals 2,550 milliseconds/trucks. Heavy equipment, engineered routes with ice thickness monitoring, ground-penetrating radar, and safety protocols. 0 horses, 0 drownings. The route works because we learned from 1925 to 1932. We learned that crossing frozen lakes requires understanding ice mechanics, respecting natural limits, and using appropriate technology. Lessons purchased with 200 horse lives. Some things don't fit on memorials. You can't engrave the sound Thomas Bjornson heard, ice cracking under 6,800 kilograms of horses and cargo, the warning that came 2 seconds before 6 horses drowned. You can't memorialize the calculation freight companies made. $150 horse cost versus $300 delivery fee, mathematics that justified 200 deaths. You can't capture what Henry LaRose felt watching 12 horses drown in one day, knowing the ice looked safe, knowing he should have listened to Dini warnings. But here's what remains. Great Slave Lake ice roads operate safely today because we stopped using horses unsuited for Arctic ice. 200 horses died, proving that heavy animals on thin ice equals death. Their deaths bought nothing except industry profit, 1925 to 1932. No lasting infrastructure, no permanent improvement, just gold mining revenue and 200 drowned horses, whose names nobody recorded. The lake is quiet now. Ice forms every winter. Trucks cross safely. The pressure ridges still form. Same locations, same patterns, same dangers. The difference? Modern vehicles distribute weight, monitor ice thickness, avoid weak zones. Horses had no such advantages, just hooves on ice, weight concentrated, death inevitable.